If you're watching this, there is a high chance you have had this thought recently. My salary is increasing every year, but somehow my life is not getting easier. Your hike letter says plus 6%, plus 7%, but your bank balance, your savings, your peace of mind all feel like they are going in the opposite direction. Groceries cost more, school fees jump every year, rent keeps increasing, and by the end of the month, you're thinking, मैं इतना काम कर रहा हूँ फिर भी आगे क्यों नहीं बढ़ पा रहा. In this video, over next 12 minutes, three things will happen. You will see real numbers that prove your feeling is correct. It's not just in your head. You will understand exactly where your money is leaking every month. You will walk away with three practical, realistic actions you can start this month. If you care about your family's financial future, stay till the end. Because nobody is coming to rescue the middle class, not HR, not the government, not the economy. This video is for a very specific person. You're a working professional in India. You probably have around 10 or more years of experience. You work for a decent company. Your salary on paper looks respectable. You have responsibilities, spouse, children, parents to support, and a rented flat or a home loan. On paper, your LinkedIn profile looks good. Your relatives think you are well settled. But every month, during the end, it's the same way. Salary comes in, fixed expenses go out, then variable expenses, then one unexpected surprise, and finally, tension. If that sounds like you, stay with this video. This is your story. Let's move from emotion to evidence. Salary growth versus inflation. Over the last several years in India, typical salary increments for white-collar employees has been around 5 to 6% per year. In some sectors like automobile or manufacturing, projections were to go up to 9 to 10%. But average consumer inflation has been around 6% per year. At first glance, that sounds okay. 6% salary hike, 6% inflation. I'm safe, right? No, because your take home pay grows much less than your CTC hike. After tax, PF, and other deductions, your actual take home growth is usually around 3 to 4% per year. Then you adjust for that inflation, your real purchasing power, and what you can actually buy is growing only 2 to 3% per year, sometimes even less. Meanwhile, your parents' generation saw real wage growth of around 5% per year in earlier decades. So you're not imagining it. In real terms, they were moving forward faster than you are today. Now, inflation is not equal for everything. It hits the middle class hardest in exactly those areas where you cannot avoid. For a typical urban family of four, a monthly budget often looks like groceries and food somewhere close to 12,000, 18,000, growing at around 10 to 12% per year. Children's education is 8 to 12% or much more if it's a big city private school, which is also growing at 15 to 20% per year. Rent or housing EMI is somewhere between 20,000 to 35,000 for a basic 2 BHK in many cities, which is again growing at 5 to 8% per year. Transportation and fuel somewhere close to around 5 to 8,000, which again is growing by 8 to 10% per year. Utilities, internet, phone, etc. is growing between 4 to 6%. Healthcare is between 2 to 3,000 on average, but one emergency can wipe out months or years of saving. Now compare that. Your salary grew by 6%, but groceries grew between 10 to 12%. School fees grew by 15 to 20%. Rental grew between 6 to 8%, sometimes even 10%. Healthcare 12 to 15%. Your income is running on a track of 6%. Your essential expenses are on track of 10 to 12, 20%. Yes, रेस बराबर नहीं है. This race is not fair. Two categories are quietly destroying the Indian middle class: education and housing. For education, over the last 3 years, many parents across cities have reported 50 to 80% increase in school fees. Imagine a school that used to charge 25,000 per year in 2022 is now easily charging somewhere close to 38 to 45,000 per year. On top of that, there are schools who are charging more than 70 to 80,000 per year for a first standard kid. Schools often raise fees by 10 to 30% every year. So when you get a 10% bonus or increment, you feel happy for a moment. But in reality, bonus to school fees खा गई. Your financial position almost doesn't move. Housing. In cities like Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, NCR, a 2 BHK rent commonly ranges between 25,000 to 40,000 per month in decent areas. To buy a similar 2 BHK, you are looking at somewhere close to 60 lakh to 70 lakh rupees in basic locality and 80 lakhs to 1.5 CR in prime locations. Affordable housing stock has actually been shrinking, making it harder for the middle class to buy. So either you keep paying rent, which increases, as I said, between 5 to 8 to 10%, or you take big home loan, where 40 to 50% of your salary vanishes into EMI. In both cases, your savings capacity collapses. Emotionally, it feels like this. पापा ने 35 की उम्र में घर बना लिया. मैं 40 की उम्र में स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूँ रेंट के लिए. Let's walk through a typical month. First week. Salary credited, you feel good. You make a mental promise. This month, I will manage better. Immediately, rent or EMI, 20 to 35,000 gone. School fees or daycare, 8,000 to 12,000 gone. Maybe SIP or insurance if you are disciplined. Half your salary is gone in the first few days. By second week, your groceries are somewhere close to 3,000 to 4,000 per week. Fuel for a month is around 3 to 4,000. Electricity, phone, internet, a few thousand more. Now you are calculating every weekend plan. Third week, something unexpected happens. It always does. Medical test, car repair, some function, gift or travel, child's class or activity fees. The credit card comes out. Fourth week, you are watching your bank app more often. UPI payments become stressful, low balance message shows up, and you tell yourself, next year, increment आएगा, तब सब set हो जाएगा. But next year the same script repeats because the equation itself is broken. Salary growth, real salary growth, 3 to 4%. Core expenses grow by 10 to 20%. No budgeting app can fix a mathematically broken equation. Traditionally, people tell you make a budget, cut down on eating out, buying coffee, stop buying gadgets, save more, invest more. Some of that advice is not wrong, but it's incomplete. The real problem is structural. Your earnings are growing slower than your unavoidable expenses. Housing, education, and healthcare are not optional luxuries. They are basic life components. So, yes, you should cut waste, but you cannot budget your way out of a broken economic structure. You need a different playbook. Now, let's talk about what you can do. Not theory, not get rich quick, but realistic moves for a middle class professional. Action number one: track real purchasing power, not CTC. Stop getting emotionally attached to only the percentage hike on your CTC. Instead, once every quarter, sit down and divide your monthly expense into four buckets: housing, which is rent and EMI, food, which is grocery and basic meals, education, fees plus tuition plus learning, and fourth one, everything else: transportation, health, lifestyle. For every bucket, compare this year versus last year. For example, last year housing was 28,000, this year it may be 30,000, about 7% increase. Last year groceries costed you 14,000, this year 16,000, another 14% increase. Do this for each bucket. You will very clearly see which category is running out of control. Then take targeted decisions. If housing is 35% to 40% of your income, consider a slight location shift to a different configuration. If education costs are exploding, honestly evaluate what is brand premium versus real value. If groceries and lifestyle are jumping, you know exactly where to tighten. Awareness is your first weapon. जब तक दिखाई नहीं बदलता नहीं है. Build a second income engine, even a small one. Depending on one salary in today's environment is like driving without a spare wheel. You don't need to build the next unicorn, but you do need a second income source, even if it's small at the start. Some realistic options: freelancing, consulting. Use your existing domain knowledge to help smaller companies, startups, or students. Teaching or training. Online courses, weekend workshops, mentoring juniors in your field. If you can explain things well, create content on YouTube, LinkedIn, or a podcast. This takes time, but it can unlock opportunities and income later. Learn one monetization skill: data analysis, AI tools, specific softwares, niche industry tools. Even an extra 8,000 to 10,000 per month consistently earned and invested can completely change your 10 to 15 years picture. Remember, इंक्रीमेंट से ज़्यादा पावरफुल होता है एक एक्स्ट्रा इनकम सोर्स. Now, third action is automating wealth. Reverse the formula. Most people follow the formula income minus expense is equal to saving. If something is left, this guarantees your saving will always be whatever is left over. Flip it deliberately. Income minus investment should be your expense. On salary day, automate a fixed percentage, ideal 10 to 15% of your income. At minimum 5 to 7% if things are very tight. Priority order, emergency fund. Build 3 to 6 months of expense in a simple bank account. Until you have this, make this your first goal. After that, SIPs, simple, boring, long-term SIPs in index fund or diversified mutual funds. Start with whatever you can, even 3,000 or 5,000 per month. Automation does three things. It forces discipline, it removes emotion and excuses, it gives your future a safety net. If you're still watching, you're not average. Most people feel this pain. Complain for 5 minutes and then distract themselves with reels. You stayed. That means your family's future genuinely matters to you. So do these three things right now. Comment below. Write one sentence. My biggest financial pain right now is dash. This will show you that you are not alone and it will help shape future videos. Second is share this video. Send it to one colleague or a friend who is also struggling, silently but doesn't talk about it. Middle class people rarely open up about money. This video can start that conversation. Third, subscribe to this channel. If this video puts word to what you were already feeling, then subscribe. Future videos will go deeper into this. Salary versus inflation breakdowns, how to think about school fees, home loans, EMIs strategically, practical side income strategies for working professionals, simple no jargon investment basics. The system is not designed to make the middle class financially free. System change नहीं होने वाला. हमें अपना गेम चेंज करना पड़ेगा. Ask yourself one question today. What do I want my money to look like after 5 years from now? Then take one small step today, just one. Your financial future is not guaranteed, but it is in your hands more than you think. Thank you for watching. Take care of your health, your skills, and your money. See you in next video.